Hello, everybody! Anime Reflux is the show that we're doing today. It's Wednesday.
They don't even know
Hi.
what day it is. They don't even know what day it is. The day is whatever day I say it is on the day that you watch it. It's Kenshi Day. But then again, every day is Kenshi Day. Aren't you lucky?
Okay, let's try this again. Hey, everybody! It's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And we're doing Anime Reflux because that's the day that we do this show. Yeah. That day. Which is whichever one of those you watch it on. Yeah.
Moving quite along. This week's anime is Jyu Oh Sei, Planet of the Beast King. And it was not bad.
It was pretty good. It has the most handsome protagonists in any anime ever. They're handsome, they have amazing hair, their eyes are a beautiful blue grey. It's just mesmerizing to see them on screen. They're like the perfect humans.
It's a stretch considering one of them a protagonist. One of them is not a protagonist.
Yeah, okay.
So we start off with an in media res opening that involves the two boys
So
running.
handsome.
That involves the two boys running through a jungle, being pursued by
People.
humans of some sort that are just determined to kill them for some reason or another. And what we have there is we get a good glimpse at the interaction between them. Thor, the older brother, is strong and determined to protect his brother, and Rai, the younger, is...
I would rephrase the older is strong and determined to survive, and the younger brother is not.
Let's just go with that, yeah. So we basically get that and him saying that he'll protect Rai now that their mother and father can't. Then cue opening. We don't usually remark on the opening so much, but
Not usually, but it's tasty. Did I mention that? I think I mentioned that in the chat.
Why is it tasty? It's an
'Cause-
intro song to me.
Yeah, but the bass line, it's got a thick bass line. It's great. It's awesome.
it's unlike most anime openings that I see. I'd recommend
Makes-
giving it a watch just for that.
It makes me feel like it's old for some reason.
It is. It's like 2000, early
I know.
2000s.
I know that, but it makes me feel it.
Right. Anyway, cut back, and we find out that this is set in the distant future, where Earth's inhabitants have left Earth and have set up space stations.
Yeah, shitty old
Left,
Earth.
yes, but to clarify, they've colonized other planets and an entire solar system aside from Earth. Earth is still a thing, as far as we know, and still has people on it, but they don't keep in contact much.
Only the elite are able to get to Earth, and that's what Thor wants to do. He wants to study to become a pilot so that he can go to Earth with his father's influence, and his father is apparently a high-ranking member of society, something like that. And Kai says yes, that he'd like to do it too. So we got a good glimpse at the way that the world works through the two of them watching a multimedia presentation on their history. Then they head back home and find that the lights are out, that the security system hadn't gone off, but yet something had interfered.
I just want to mention the flashback to the history and stuff. That's a good framing device for that exposition. Like, it fits the characters because the characters are interested in the history and want to go see the planet where humanity came from and see the lakes and forests, etc., etc. So it makes sense that they would go and watch that, and in doing so, give us the exposition on the setting.
Indeed. It's nice to have everything fit together in a nice, believable way without it seeming too much like an infant.
There's nothing worse than just a basic text scroll at the beginning of a property looking at you, Star Wars.
You don't like that 3-minute Star Wars roll, such and such?
Answer me honestly. Do you actually read it?
I mean,
I do.
I try.
I do.
Okay. But,
Anyway.
You can't really argue it's not clumsy exposition, though.
I mean, at this point, I believe it's more tradition than, this is the best way to get the information across.
Yeah, my understanding is the newest one was like 5 seconds, basically. It's a paragraph or two, and okay, let's get this moving.
Okay, so let's see. After they move into another room and they find that their parents are lying there dead, Rai runs over to his mother, and Thor stands shocked for a minute before wondering who did it. Then in comes a sudden smoke grenade with knockout gas in it, apparently. And Rai goes down, and as Thor tries to reach him, he sees figures standing in the door, which he identifies as the Federal Guard of Juno, which is...
Yeah, they're special forces, basically.
Yeah. And his last thought is, why are they doing this? Because they should be protecting his father. So, there's that. And
we get a transition scene of them being put in a space pod ship thing and transported elsewhere. Presumably knocked out for long term. I imagine they didn't wake up during, but we don't really know, because the next shot we get is planetside in a lake with lily pads. It's kind of nice. And they're just climbing out of the pod. We don't really get their reaction as they wake up.
Well, we get Thor. He has a bit of exposition saying, when we woke up, we were on a planet of hostile plants or something like that. So, yeah, after that, back to where we were before. Both of them fall down a cliff and inadvertently escape their pursuers in the process. Thor then finds...
The little one twisted his leg, and Thor looks through his stuff, and he finds he has a beam knife, which is a lightsaber, only tiny, and he has a little bag of stuff that stinks.
So useful for repelling predators or something like that, you'd assume. Then...
You might assume. He has no idea. Not being confronted by any plants or animals or anything prior to this, we assume.
Yeah. But then out come some vines that wrap around Rai and try to drag him away. Am I right?
Yes. I'm going to be perfectly honest. I lost the thread of some of the events for the next couple minutes.
Okay, I'm pretty sure it went. He finds the stuff, plant attacks, Thor frees Rai without using the beam knife for some reason. Then the other humans from before find them and say that they want to kill them for some reason.
Right, yeah. Thor's shouting alerts them, and they find the brothers because of that.
Cut to
big
midway
group
point.
Wants to kill them, and then another dude shows up. I think his name was Zagi.
Yeah.
Zagi. And he's like, no, they're mine. The other guy's like, well, alright, they're his. For now.
Yeah, and basically they all go away, and Zagi proceeds to take them with him and explain that the planet they're on is called Chimera, And it is apparently a top-secret prison planet. And, well, I mean, fair play, I suppose, for making a planet like that into a prison. It works well enough. He explains that...
Okay.
Well, what?
Well,
Just...
reasonably speaking, any planet would work as a prison planet, presuming they don't just hand them a spaceship. But, yeah,
well,
okay.
Moving on. Zagi proceeds to explain that carnivorous plants rule the planet, and the only way to survive is to revert back to being a beast, which is why they call it Planet of the Beast King. He shows them how to harness sap from a particularly dangerous plant, which lasts for 12 hours. I suppose that's some sort of Chekhov's gun for later.
It's a particularly dangerous sap, let alone plant it was trying to escape the bag that they put it in.
Yeah. And after that, they head back to a village of wild children, something like that. He explains to Thor that the society of Chimera is divided into 4 separate rings, and that people are divided by gender and by skin color for some reason. From there...
Then Thor says something a little odd, that you can change your skin color whenever you want to on whatever, Juno, I think it was the colony?
Yes, that's the planet.
It makes me think they're trying to do a race thing, but I don't know where they're going with it.
Should be interesting to find out. Anyway, Thor asks if there's any way to leave the planet, and Zagi replies that there is one way. If you can manage to defeat the leaders of all 4 rings, then
In short, take over the planet, you can leave and go to another planet that I think... Was it called Hecate?
Something like that.
That's how it's spelled.
The word was travel between Chimera and that place whenever you wanted to. So,
which says, yes, you can get off the planet. It doesn't necessarily say you can go home, though.
Yeah. So, after that exposition is out of the way, cut to the rest of the villagers surrounding Rai, who has just spilled the water bucket that they were carrying. And they start scolding him and kicking him.
At this point, I probably would have pointed out, hey, it's your dumbass fault for getting the guy with a sprained ankle to carry valuable shit. But that's just me.
That's a good point. I didn't think of that. But in comes Thor trying to protect his brother, and they immediately start wailing on him as well. Cut to a cave a short time later, and Zagi comes up as Rai is off to do something else, and he basically tells Thor tells him straight up that he won't survive if he's not by himself. So,
more specifically, that Rai is only going to drag him down.
Thor is repulsed by the idea at first. Then they're out walking for several hours on end.
Presumably to leave and get away from the wild children that are going to kill both of them if they stay, is pretty much what they got told by Zagi. And then we have Rai complaining about everything.
And basically, at one point, at length, he just collapses onto his knees and says he'd rather die than keep going. And Thor realizes that Zagi was right. So,
It's hard to argue with that.
yeah, and so he says, he basically tells Rai to go ahead and die, as strict as that is. He then says that if he leaves him alone, he'll die in 3 days. So I guess as some sort of mercy, he draws his beam knife and advances towards Rai.
3 days is oddly specific, I want to point out.
3 days is generous for that
Yeah.
kid.
So,
Presumably hunger, thirst, something.
I assume what happens next would probably happen first.
So Rai advances with the beam knife. Thor advances with the beam knife. Rai stumbles back, then in desperation throws a packet of something at Thor and cuts him on his cheek.
I thought it was a rock. But, whatever. Throw something at him.
Thought it might have been that pouch, but a rock makes a lot more sense for cutting him.
No, Thor has the pouch. Rai specifically doesn't. That's why he kept getting attacked by the plants.
Right. Okay, so... And Thor's ready to bring the blade down, but he sees himself reflected in Rai's eyes, sheathes the blade, so to speak, just withdraws the energy, and winces his eyes shut, horrified at what he was about to do. Then in come natives from one of the rings. And they...
Ochre, I want to say it was. The Ochre ring.
And they basically tell them that they've violated the rules of the ring, and so they must die. And Thor tries to reason with them, saying that they had just come there recently and were ignorant of the rules. He dismisses that as a sound reason, and then Thor tries to bribe them with his with the beam sword. Shows it to them.
Yeah, look how cool and shiny it is. Take a real close look. Isn't he so smart and handsome? So handsome. Did I mention he was handsome?
Okay.
And so the guy wants to get a closer look at it, and Thor stabs him. Energy blade straight through his body.
Because
and he then begins
to... was dumb. Dumb.
Yeah.
Dumb.
And yet he was apparently the second in command.
Yeah. I mean, the guy literally goes, hey, why don't you take a really close look at this weapon that I'm explicitly telling you is a weapon and a blade shoots out of it. Take a really, really close look. And he goes, okay, let's take a look at this thing. Oh! Yeah.
Then Thor begins cutting them all down as much as he can to Rai's horror, and the other guys try going after Rai. And as Thor tries to reach him, enter another carnivorous plant. And this time, Thor isn't close enough to save him. You get the feeling that he might, but then Rai is dragged deeper and deeper into the plant and out of sight.
Plant thresher. Thresher plant.
So he tries to resist, but is also dragged into the plant. And the last thing he sees is someone, apparently with a grappling hook-like weapon on a thin string that's latched onto his left hand. He looks up to see, and we see cloaked assassin type person, and he says something about it being nostalgic looking in those empty black eyes before he passes out.
Also, it looked a little more like a fish hook than a grappling hook, but it's, incidental.
That makes more sense. And cut there.
I'm intrigued. I'm gonna be honest.
I mean, it does look pretty interesting, but I guess I'm not really fond of every man for himself, no matter what the cost. But that's the point of the show. So
Yeah, it doesn't get any softer on that front for the most
You've seen it?
Yes.
Oh, you saw it before.
Yes.
Oh, does it
I
stay
wasn't here
good?
last week. And I mean, it moves quickly, so whether you like it or not, like it's okay. It's nothing like wow, I would recommend this to everyone. It's like, it's okay if I got nothing to watch. But like the thing about it I can say is in its favor is that at least it moves quickly. Like it doesn't mess around.
Yeah, it's
Plot.
shown that in this first episode. I mean, I've mentioned the not having a wake up scene after the transport ship. Um, that actually kind of works to its favor. I mean, they could have done one of those, but it wouldn't really tell us anything that we didn't already know. They're confused and afraid, don't know what's going on or why they're there. Okay, we already knew that, so there wasn't much point in having that scene. So not having that scene only helps the pacing. So
Yeah, nothing. See, it's a pretty short series.
yeah, it's
I think
13
it's like
episodes.
11 episodes. So
11.
people that
Is
made
it?
this really did a good
Okay.
job of not burying the damn lead. Every episode gets straight to the point and then moves on to the next point for the next episode. So
That might be why this is so refreshing. Just having watched Ruby recently, and yeah, this is basically a show that has ably solved the current problem with Ruby. So it's a nice, refreshing change of pace, literally. So,
yeah, also because it's so short, people die, they die. So yeah, characters, no one is safe. Um, so my opinion on it is, if you enjoyed the first episode, by all means watch the rest of it because it'll go by quick for you and you'll enjoy it for the most part.
also the protagonist is really handsome. Great hair, great eyes.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that. Don't worry about it.
Okay. I hope someone's getting the joke that I'm putting down and not just thinking I'm fetishizing this character that's probably like 13 years old. I hope that's not where people think I'm taking this.
Oh, you mean like every other writer that ever gives their character white hair for no reason?
Yeah, okay, but it also, in this case, has my exact eye color, so that's why I'm harping on it.
It's not because it's albino.
I didn't think so. Japanese don't know what those are. Well, that's me being unfair. No one knows what those are. So,
I know what it is.
that's because you know me.
I know what it is if I didn't know you.
Sure, you can say that.
I'm a grown man.
Okay. Anything else to say about Jyu Oh Sei?
One thumb up from Kench.
Patient?
It's good for what it is. Not my thing, but it's a good show. I'd recommend it if you like that sort of thing. Give it a try at least.
I was just thinking what I'm going to shorthand title this show, and like usually it's like one word or one syllable, but then that would just be Jew, and that's
No.
slightly unfortunate. Yeah. Okay. So are we gonna pick another one, or
Fine.
Please.
I was waiting for the damn prompt. Okay. So, here we go. How the hell did you do this without me? All right.
easily?
This week, shut up. We get 17.
No.
I
Is
don't
it?
know what letter this is.
It's Q, Kenshi.
So how many do we have left on this one?
2.
You did the
Just
updated
2.
list.
I'm sorry. That's what it came up as.
We still haven't done Quan Jigao show. Or I don't think we were doing the Transformers one. I think we cut that one off.
Okay.
Oh yeah, it was Raw, that's why.
So, let me guess what we're actually going to get. Kwanziga show. Because, seriously, it's the only thing. Well, maybe we get the other one. All right.
2.
It's 1.
It's Quan Jigao show. You're safe for one more turn, patient. But the next time it's Q, we're all screwed.
What's the other one supposed to be?
Queen's
Queen's
Blade.
Blade, Kenshi.
Oh, right. That's right. We beat on this before, didn't we?
Yeah,
Yes.
that's the fighting porn one. Yeah.
Well, I mean, we already kind of did porn one.
Yeah, we did do that.
Okay, I will admit, compared to Valkyrie Dry Mermaid, I probably, hopefully, won't dislike Queen's Blade quite as much.
It'll still make you uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But that's something to be considered later. For now, we have Quanzi show. Translation, The King's Avatar.
Yeah.
In the multiplayer online game Glory, Yishu, not sure how to pronounce that, is regarded as a textbook and top-tier pro player. However, due to a myriad of reasons, he is kicked from the team. Interesting. After leaving the pro scene, he finds work in an internet cafe as a manager. When Glory launches its 10th server, he throws himself into the game once more. Possessing 10 years of experience, the memories of his past, and an incomplete self-made weapon, his return along the road to the summit begins. What?
I'm not going to like this.
It's alright. It's actually alright. As these shows go.
You've seen it?
Yeah, I watched the whole thing. Yeah, there was some buzz about it recently, like 6 months ago when it first started, calling it a better Sword Art Online. It is not that in the slightest. Like, it's not even the same type of thing. Sword Art Online was play a video game or die. This is more pro gaming culture and stuff like that. So, yeah, like the myriad reasons why he gets cut from the team is because he's old. He's like 26, and that is old for a pro gamer. So
interesting. Well, we'll see what happens.
Yeah. It's actually pretty decent for a few episodes, and then it just kind of drags, was my opinion. But why am I giving my opinion now? I'm an idiot.
Right then. Thanks for listening, everybody. We'll be back with Kwanzi Gaoshin next week.
Yeah, I'm going to have to cut that out. Blah. Shut up, Casey. Bye, everybody.
Bye. I'm so confused right